in there. I don't like it. Triple Libra?
Triple Libra.
My gosh, that's a lot of Libras.
I know.
She's magnificent. I don't know what it means, but
I don't super know what it means
if I
either.
could order a perfect person, it would be a triple Libra. You're that girl.
My
I did have
goodness.
an Uber driver once ask me, and I said triple Libra, and she turned around and said, "Are you afraid of yourself?"
She almost crashed and like,
No, I'm afraid of you looking at me.
right. That's deep though. I've never.
Balance to my core. I hope. I don't know.
So far,
I'll take that and run with it. That's their
so
symbol.
far, so good.
Balance? You've learned to balance?
I hope so.
Ooh.
She just cycled 700 miles. She was balanced. You didn't fall, right?
I did fall once, and I hitchhiked to an urgent care.
Wow.
It's amazing. Flew over the handlebars. Just a few scratches.
You were so lucky.
I know.
No, you guys taught me how to block. What is it? You put it on Do Not Disturb. I've learned to do that. I've learned. My technology skills are. I put it on Do Not Disturb. I see you hitting the lines, but you know this is during our 6-minute break. So when you guys call during the 6-minute break, Andy could go to El Pollo Loco. He could go move his car. Like anything could. He could be in the bathroom. Andy will be in the kitchen cooking. That 6 minutes is an eternity for Andy. You guys should call before the 6-minute break. Now we missed a couple of people. We missed a couple of calls.
Get back here, Andy.
Nah, Andy, I think he does have some surgery coming up for that knee. Does have a knee issue, and it's coming.
That hurts.
Yeah. Andy, the phone's been going crazy since you've been gone, but I told him don't call during the break. Andy gonna leave.
And let's get that ticket thing.
Oh yeah. Now you guys can call. Andy is back in the cockpit. My bro is gonna stay super empowered. Yes, yes. All right, so we back. Everybody hit the like button. Don't forget. That's how we stay in the algorithm. Hit the like button, share it, let your folks know. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, is on live. So come on in and participate. You already know the number. Thank you, Attila, for posting the number. Oh, we got Ronan, Indianapolis. It's about to go down. Lord have mercy. It's about. This is gonna be good. Follow Creative Foundations on IG. They got your IG page up here. This is happening.
I'm so grateful.
I love it. This is happening. Everybody hit that like button. Don't forget.
You got to do the show from Malibu one day. That would be really fun.
I'm gonna have to. And
Bring Andy.
Andy would. I think Andy was there.
Yeah.
He was there the last time.
Love it. And she's back.
All right, we got Atlanta.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is good.
There, Atlanta. Can you take some pictures? It's so cute. Maybe a little video.
Attila, you know you got to get in here.
I love that. I love the music.
husband still feels attacked when I tell him my feelings in a healthy way. How do I get my husband to change? The short answer? You can't. Let's close in prayer. Dear Lord, why? Listen, he's in charge of his own actions and reactions. He makes choices just like you do that affect your relationship in either a positive or a negative way. Now, of course, there are things that we can all do to set us up for the best chance at healthy communication and healthy conflict resolution and repair and reconnection after a hurt or a tear in the bond. But whether he accepts accountability or receives the opportunity to make things better instead of worse is completely his decision. But here's how you know if you're on a path towards individual self-reflection and emotional maturity. I made the mistake of making a video where I specifically told wives not to use blame or criticism in their communication with their husbands because it simply doesn't help anything. Boy, was that well received. Got about 200 angry women in the comments telling me how she doesn't need to do anything different. He does. Because remember, he's the toxic one. And if he wants to act like a baby, then I'll treat him like a baby. Okay, great talk. And this is a great example of the pursuer-distancer or anxious-avoidant attachment styles. One person feels hurt and tries to reconnect through closeness and communication, which is great, but they often don't have the tools to do so, so they end up doing it with blame or shame or criticism, which causes the avoidant to do what? Well, they distance themselves even further. They feel attacked. They feel like you're calling them a failure, so they defend and make excuses. Now the anxious person feels more hurt and more invalidated and more unheard. Their needs for closeness still aren't being met, so they get louder and more critical and build up more resentment and get passive-aggressive and blow up over something small and unrelated and lash out at them. You don't care. You never do this. You always do that. And the avoidant responds with kindness and empathy and repairs the hurt. And the reason you're laughing is because that never happens, does it? No, they're blindsided. They have no idea what's going on. And part of the problem with me not having self-awareness was that I wasn't aware of what was happening in my relationship. So I labeled her as overly sensitive or making me out to be the bad guy. And the cycle just goes round and round. No one's actually being vulnerable and communicating from a place of self. Using when this happened, I felt X, and this is what I need to feel emotionally safe in this relationship.
Oh, God, he hurt my heart listening to all of that. Listen, relationships are likened to a spiritual supercomputer that gets programmed in childhood by people who don't know how to use it. that's what it is. You become what you model, and when you're modeling your parents, they're a work in progress because that is what it is to be human, right? To be flawed, right? So relationship in and of itself, spiritual in nature, although we put the social template and benchmarks ahead of that spiritual purpose. But if you were programmed, not everyone was, but if you were, most of us are, programmed by a computer programmer that didn't understand, right? The software. My God, are you uploading the software of resentment? Are you uploading the software of codependence? Are you uploading the software of narcissism? And we know narcissism is on a spectrum, whether it be the passive-aggressive version, the covert narcissist, or the aggrandized version, the malignant narcissist. Children in any environment will model who their primary caregivers are. And that stuff is almost like it's being encoded on your spirit. Heavy stuff. We got Kathy Eldon from Creative Visions in the building. And she's cooking with the rarest grease. She done hipped us to a book about her wild days in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it was Kenya, but never mind. No, that was in the actual story is in the memoir called In the Heart of Life. And
Wow.
I talk about what you're talking about. You know, we are encoded with software that just doesn't always work. And how do we get from that dysfunctional spiritual machine, whatever you wanted to call it, to having that empathy, compassion, awareness that we're all so damn human, you know?
Yeah.
How do we do that? How have you done it? I'm really curious. You're always asking us stuff, but I want to know about you.
Well, for me, and I'm not a pro at it, But for me, I think my ability to empathize in many cases comes from my maladaptive attachment style. I believe it, you know. I think I'm more anxious, preoccupied, so I'm more of a chaser. I'm trying to prove to you that I'm worthy, you know. As a kid, by the time I was 10 months old, I went into foster care.
Oh my God.
So I didn't meet my mother until I was around 5.
Wow.
So meeting someone that's your mom and she's a perfect stranger and she's like, no, I'm your mother. You know, you have to adjust, right? So I think my maladaptive attachment style, again, is anxious, preoccupied. And I've always been the type of person in relationship with, oh, what did I do? Can I fix it?
Fear of abandonment.
What?
Is
Yes,
that thrown in there?
exactly.
I think.
That's anxious, preoccupied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, hey, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let me fix it. Can we work it out? I've always been that type. So I think learning that can be weaponized against you, like, because when the great Krishnamurti, is my favorite philosopher, J. Krishnamurti, when he says relationships are a mirror. He said this in the 19th century sometime, right? Relationships are a mirror. And then when you start studying psychology and start to figure out John Bowlby's attachment theory, Mary Ainsworth, you start figuring these things out and you realize the attachment styles, the maladaptive ones, are attracted to each other. The avoidants are attracted to the chasers, the anxious. So, and it's just such a journey that you have to figure out who you are, even the low aspects, the dark aspects of who you are. And then you have to say, I'm okay with that. I'm going to look at those dark areas objectively and with empathy. I'm going to empathize. And this is how you're able to overcome them. If you spoil unhealed wounds by catering to their demands, which turned into expectations for our external partners, right? Yeah. If you cater to that unhealed wound, you'll be its slave for life, right? And it'll be everybody else's fault because they didn't bend the knee, right, to your unhealed wounds. What are your thoughts on what I'm saying?
Well, I think you're right. And I think what happens is we attract at our own level. You know, you were talking about that earlier, that we tend to be, however enlightened or, you know, uninformed or inexperienced we are, we tend to bring in people at that level.
Yes.
But the idea for you, for us, is how do we evolve? Because what will happen inevitably is those maladaptive, you're going to probably crash, you're probably not going to make that relationship, or it will be so unpleasant, or it will be so difficult, and then we will repeat it over and over again because we haven't learned how to shift our gears. So how did you shift your gears? Because clearly did you have a foster father around?
I did.
And was that a good, healthy relationship?
He was amazing. I think my foster parents, they were the most, I would say, productive, safe, and healthy relationship that I had. The unfortunate part is it was taken away from me when I was still very young, and then I had to relearn. And then as I got older, as I became an adult, I had to relearn again. Like all of the stuff I learned after I left them wasn't right.
Are you still in touch with them?
They're gone. They're gone. Like I said, we moved here in 79. I was 8, you know, and raised in Pasadena. And I didn't see them until maybe 94.
Oh, man.
And when I saw them, it was like maybe a month or two before both of them died.
They must have been so happy to see you.
Oh, man.
So proud of you.
Oh, my God. They were through the roof.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, but for me, it's just about being in relationships and discovering myself. And my way of doing that is through philosophy. You know, my love of philosophy and spirituality. And I started to see, Zoe, you're the problem.
You're enlightened, my friend. You're rare. That's amazing.
You know, Jiddu Krishnamurti says it best for me, and it was one of the first things that I read. He said, the enemy is you, not the other. So when I wrote my book, The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship, I had a chapter in there that was called Claim Over Blame. Because oftentimes that's what we do. You know, the external is the problem. And that gives the internal a scapegoat to not deal with itself. And that's what relationships for, the University of You. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to keep cooking this fish. I tell you, the fish grease is as hot as it's going to get. I got callers coming forward. It's going to get even better. Let's do it.
This is fun, man. I love learning about you.
Ah.
So fascinating.
Nobody interviews me. No more.
This is what I like doing. I'm a journalist, remember?
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, but really for any guy, and especially coming out of, you know, a foster home where you you had to move in then with your mom.
Yeah.
And did she have any men or lots of men or?
Oh, it gets even crazier.
Oh man. Well, let's leave it for. Let's bring them in. I think they're fascinated by this. Your followers are.
They're like, go, Kathy, go. That's comedy. Y'all too much. Hey, I'm not with none of y'all in here. Hey, call in. I want to talk to y'all too. Let's talk about it. Everybody hit the like button. John Gilbreth. Come on, man. Get on the phone line. Let's talk, brother. Greetings, blessings for the late due. Let's go. Come on. And don't forget, my Cash App is popping. Let's get to my Cash App. There's multiple ways to support the channel. You can hit the little super chat down at the bottom of the chat like John Gilbreth just did. And remember, everybody, let's like their donations to the channel, okay? Let's like them. Like I said, it means a lot when we show appreciation for those who have supported. And I think Heru Ali was another one who did it as well. The other way is to go to my website, mrzowhat.com. You can get a copy of my book, The Shrouded Lighthouse. Order your copy now. The Shrouded Lighthouse is an amazing book. I put it out in 2021. I'm working on my 5th book right now. I'll let you guys know when that's coming. Or you can send your Cash App directly to my, what is it, Cash App? Yeah, $Zowhatnetter. Sean Wells, welcome in. John Gilbreth, welcome in. We appreciate everybody for being in the house, all right? Check out Unk's book. Thank you. I'm Unk. Oh, and by the way, it's my granddaughter's birthday. She's 6 years old today. And that FaceTime was hilarious. Come on, super chatters. I see you guys. King Creasy. Mac Shook 510. Almost time. No, not yet. Appreciate you guys. Grand Muffin is definitely 6 years old. And the FaceTime it's a mess. She has to call everybody all at the same time. And if somebody is missing, she will let that be known. Like, can somebody call Pop Pop? Can we get Pop Pop on the line? Pop Pop is busy. Pop Pop is at work. No, not today. Not today. He's busy. No. So that's funny. She's a Leo. So what do you expect? Come on. She's like, I'm the star of the show and it's my birthday, so let's get it. Sex is one thing, intimacy is another. Tapped in from Mississippi. Come on in here. I need you.
I agree.
Let's go.
Let's get her on the phone. That's a woman. Can you hear it?
I can hear it. I can hear it too.
go check out 5 reasons women stop wanting sex. So that's another angle that I come from. Today we're going to go a little bit deeper and look a little bit more at the emotional and psychological experience that's happening in us as women that we shut down to sex. So before we get into all that, I want to share some of the comments with you that men have shared of what their wife has said to them about why they no longer want sex. One of them, I couldn't find it again to copy and paste it, but one of them said something like, very shortly after my wife and I got married, she looked at me and said, "Aren't you glad we're married now so we don't have to pretend that we like sex?" That's something a woman said. Here's another one. My wife told me after years of no sex, when I asked her why, she said, "You are my best friend, and the idea of sex with my best friend is gross," which is why she was only interested when we first met.
Oh dear.
That's an actual excuse that a woman gave. Another common one, she says that that her hormones are always low. Another comment from a man, what his wife shared. I've been reading about sexless marriages, and eventually during an awkward, heated conversation, I asked my wife about it. I said that sexless is usually less than 10 times a year. And then I asked my wife, how many times have we had sex in the last 10 years? Her answer, if it was once, it was one more than I wanted to. It's almost unbelievable how entitled we can feel as women to even let something so crush.
Friends and family, the voice of reason returns. These are some heavy statements, man, and a heavy topic. But let me just tell you, everything that is passionate will wane if you're not healed. When I listen to a lot of my psych friends, my psychologists and psychiatrist friends, I have to remind them, you guys are using the scientific method. So things that are spiritual might not make sense to you, right? And relationships are inherently spiritual. You say, well, Zoe, how can you quantify that? How can you prove that? We're not using the scientific method here, sir. So when I say, like, for instance, you hear people say, oh, I have empathy fatigue. That's because your empathy is weak. You live in a society that is bereft of empathy. Duh. Sure, you get tired of being empathetic. That's not a muscle you have worked out, right? Well, I don't have no forgiveness. I know. We live in an unforgiving society. It is what it is. It's killed or be killed. And so when you walk into a relationship and you have not reconciled who you are through what you've modeled, the breakdown of the relationship is actually an opportunity to see yourself, right? I always tell people, listen now, no one has the answer but you. Everybody that comes into your life is merely the question. And you've been carrying this answer, but you refuse to let it speak. So there's a performative quality to relationship. And before you can get comfortable enough to perform, there's this evaluative process. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you about? Can I trust you? Fear, ego, everything is in play because you've learned how to protect those wounds at all cost. And you've made the mistake of integrating your identity into the wound. So now you have a vested interest in not getting rid of it because you think it's a part of you. You think it is you. Do you see? So if we're going to do this, I need to be able to trust you. Well, that's because you don't trust you. You have to be the embodiment of trust. So now trust is useless from anybody else. You have to be the embodiment of loyalty to your own soul, right? As the Holnicks say over here at the University of Santa Monica. That's the name of their book, Loyalty to Your Soul. Most of us were never taught that, right? And one of the most powerful lines in that book is, it's not the issue that is the issue. It's how you respond to the issue that is the issue. Do you see how it all comes back to you? But so many people think happily ever after, Disney, Prince Charming, Princess Charming. Somebody's gonna come in here with a broom that's gonna sweep me off my. Somebody got a broom. And that's not how it works. And part of, I would say, the side effects of not going on this lifelong journey of self-resolution, right? Part of the side effects of that, you might end up in a dry marriage. Kathy, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, and I guess I'd like to maybe head towards the nuances, the kind of layers of all of this. And I think some of your amazing people who are writing in and calling in are referring to it. Can you be happy in a marriage that may not have traditional sex? And are we going to call that a dry marriage? And I think it's important that at different stages of life, for instance, and before I came over tonight, when I just found out the topic, just before I came over, I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? And I was with people who were older. And they, we kind of looked up how often do people have sex in different eras. So right now, the conversation is probably 40 to 35 to 50-year-olds, let's say. And then there are people who are older who are finding other ways of intimacy. And they can be as satisfying. And let's face it, nowadays, you don't have to have a partner to, be fulfilled, let's just say. But the intimacy, which is what often people are seeking through the sexuality, you can perhaps find that, or a spiritual connection. So I'm just going to defend or acknowledge that there are people out there who should not feel guilty because they may be in a relationship which is not traditionally sexual as everybody else might define it, but they are still finding great intimacy and joy in their relationships.
When we come forward, I want to ask Kathy about intimacy. What exactly is it? And is it different from sex? Or is sex kind of its emissary? When we come forward, the voice of reason shall continue this bonfire.
I feel like I want to ask you that question. We're going to have a conversation about this. No, these are good. This is great. I am so fascinated by when you evolved to be able to know all of this, or to deeply know it. And Krishnamurti was part of it, but
That's my guy.
By the way, did you do the College of Spiritual Studies at the University of Santa Monica? No, because a lot of the way you're talking is the depth, breadth with the knowledge is pretty impressive.
I've been studying this. What am I, 53?
You were born in 71? Yeah.
I started getting serious at 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed it though. I was coming from a different experience. I needed it.
Yeah.
But
who taught you? Who told you? Who guided you? How did you find it?
I taught myself.
A lot of people are asking this.
I was really on my own little journey. So when we leave Tennessee, this is tough. When we leave Tennessee, we come to Pasadena. So Pasadena is a totally different environment, than Tennessee.
This would be your mom or
I left with my biological mother.
Yeah.
We all left with her.
other kids?
Yeah, I got brothers and sisters. We're all still solid and tight. But it's hard to talk about it. But when we leave there and come here, so there's
Forget about the tickets, oh.
I know, I promise you. So I'm always thinking about, like my childhood, we moved into Altadena, And in Altadena, they had some gangs. They had like, so that was a different culture kind of shock. My uncle was a teacher. He was an English teacher at the school. Oh, sorry. So you got me in my.
Dear friend, I'm so sorry. So,
But this has been like a lifelong kind of.
Yeah, I think people are so fascinated by you because they're listening to you and they're thinking, how do I get there? How do I get there? How do I become that man? That
You want the simple
guy?
answer? You want the simple answer?
Yes.
You get there by being where you are.
That's Ram Dass. Be there now. Right?
That's it.
Yeah, that's Ram Dass.
Power of now.
Yeah, that's
You get there
Eckhart
by
Tolle,
being
yeah.
where you are and being okay with where you are.
Right.
That's how you get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then we're taking ourselves with us, and we are probably exactly the knowing person that. And I'm learning so much from this conversation.
But you take yourself with you, but without evaluation.
Okay, that's right. But if you, and that's the okay thing.
In the Bible for coercing a spouse into what I would just say is forced sex is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verses 3 through 5. It says this: the husband must fulfill his duty to his wife, and likewise also the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does, and likewise also the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Stop depriving one another, Paul says, except by agreement for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer, and then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Now, there are a lot of wonderful and humbling truths in that passage. Most of all, we would see this mutual sacrifice of our own moods, attitudes, desires by both husband and wife. It's really the model of Christ. We're loving our spouse above ourselves. But using this passage today, many husbands and some wives will say, your body doesn't belong to you, you don't have authority over it, and you need to give me what I need and want right now, or else the devil's going to tempt me and I might sexually sin. Look, this type of threat is manipulative abuse, and it's not at all what Paul the Apostle meant when he wrote under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. Let's understand this together. First of all, the context of this passage is that there were a number of confusing philosophies that had plagued the Corinthian church specifically, and it resulted in people who wanted to abstain from sex because they were, quote, so devoted to God, which actually makes sense because the Corinthians struggle with spiritual pride. This ascetic view is similar to how the Catholic Church refused to let many priests marry. And instead, Paul is saying, hey, it's okay to focus on spiritual things. And due to that, you may abstain for a short time of fasting and prayer, but then you must come together and be unified in sexual relationship again. Ascetic views on sex are 100% not helpful for Christians. In other words, you're not more spiritual because you don't do it. God made sex a good gift to be enjoyed by one man,
It's a good gift.
one woman in the covenant of marriage. Verse 7 is especially interesting as Paul adds, I say this by concession, not command. Basically, he means this. Listen, if you want to do this, fine. But I'm not even commanding that people take time off from regular sexual relations for fasting and prayer. To summarize this, Dr. Thomas Schreiner says, Paul is not talking about forcing your spouse to have sex if they have a headache, but that abstaining is not some spiritual elite practice like some would have thought. Rather, it's good to mutually come together by agreement and in line with marital duty.
Very interesting take. Quite radical. And you guys already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to mention Krishnamurti. He said something very profound regarding this. He said, we don't use language. Language uses us. Somebody could read that scripture and make it mean something. And if I were to say, well, who wrote that book? And in what year? And what was the original language that it was revealed in? And what's the difference between if it's Aramaic, Galilean, if it's whatever, if it's Greek, like Latin, what did we miss or lose in translation, and how was it maybe possibly mistranslated? We'll get into a pulpit and say your body, according to Luke, belongs to me. Like, we will do that. So I think sometimes we have to put aside the words and go into the reality of self. And the reality of self will reveal everything you need to know if you just sit still and ask. That's one of the most powerful spiritual principles you can ever do, right? Even the Bible says, ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. And it says it concurrently. Ask is A, seek is S, knock is K, A-S-K, ask. Sometimes it's just about sitting down and saying, where am I going? But we want to go into a relationship and we want to be fulfilled. What is the process of cultivating intimacy for ourselves so that we have this well of intimacy in order to dispense to others? Most of us haven't cultivated that well internally. We go into the relationship thirsty, parched. I ain't had it. Nobody ain't treated me right. Things ain't went well. And they come in with this yearning and this demand to be filled up. How do we fill our own intimacy cup? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I did another book called Hope Rising, and I included in it doodles, drawings that I had drawn during the time when I was coming unstuck from my relationship with my husband and then from the lover. And every one of these drawings, I'm going to try to find them and show them to you, are of a person who is so blended with another person that there was no way that we could come unstuck. That we were absolutely, look at that.
Enmeshed.
We were enmeshed.
Yes.
We were a two-headed monster at a certain point. Look at that. I did not, look at that. You know, I did not know how to be apart. I became that other person. I was so needy. I was so half a person. We say, you know, my better half. I think that's really not a good thing to say myself. I think we want to be two whole people who come together and hold hands moving forward. You know, you don't want to be so broken that you think you can complete yourself with someone else. You can certainly grow radically and do wonderful things with another person. But what is that intimacy? That's and yes, sexuality certainly can be a key to intimacy, but that, to your point about the spiritual nature of who and how we are, and there are ways that we can open ourselves to that which is infinite around us, you know, through meditation. And did you do that with Krishnamurti? Was that a part of?
He was gone when I was.
No, I don't mean that. Literally, yes, 100 years ago. Sorry.
I was out.
The spirit of Krishnamurti, did he?
No, I did practice meditation. I got into Kriya Yoga. So that's Paramahansa Yogananda, self-realization. And I got really deep into that lineage of gurus. And I loved meditation up until the point where now there's no practice. If you can just sit down and tap in, you know, before it was a struggle, you know, and that's why I loved Krishnamurti's definition of meditation. It was like, if you're trying to do it, you're not doing it. Like, you cannot force thoughts away. You have to allow them to be there to the point where they go on about their business.
Love that.
Right?
I love that.
Right? Because sometimes these thoughts, they're intrusive and they hijack the attention. But because life is such a rat race, right? And then when you add in social media and the internet and all of these distractions, it becomes very difficult to be able to just center the mind. And on top of that, if you've been hurt, if you've been wounded, some kind of way, childhood trauma, dysfunctional family, all of that stuff can play a role to where you might find yourself ruminating on the negative thought, on the intrusive thought. Meditation allows you to say, that's all right. It happened. It only lives in this moment because you're thinking about it. The moment you stop by allowing, listen to the way I frame that, stop by allowing. Many of us try to hit the brakes on the thought, and that's exceedingly difficult, probably even impossible. The only way you can stop the thought is to allow the thought, and then it'll go away.
Did you write about this in your book?
Absolutely.
Which one?
The one I'm working on right now. I don't want to tell the topic. I haven't given away the title for this new book.
No, but that's the one that's coming up. So
Oh,
we have to buy
yes.
that one. Okay.
Yes.
I'm buying it. If I were to talk to your partner, you feel like every woman out there, and probably every man, wants to be you because it feels like you have such great relationships because you. No, don't tell me that. No. Please.
No, ma'am.
No.
I think this is how I learned this, by failing in relationships. Like, I don't think, first and foremost, I don't think I know enough about relationships to consider myself some type of savant, right? Which is why when Tavis brought me here, I said, I'm not an expert. I cannot be an expert of your experience. Right? I can talk about my experience and what I've extrapolated out of it, but I can never be the expert of someone else's experience. So for me, relationships have been difficult because what I've found is because they think, oh, you got it. So it's on you to keep it and maintain it. And I have this high expectation of you and I'll pedestalize. Don't do that. Don't take my humanity away. And I think that's been one of the most difficult aspects of being in relationships, is first and foremost, we don't know how to relate to another human. We relate to expectations fulfilled. You see, right? I didn't sign up for this. What is this?
Wait a minute.
Right. So when it's time to deal with the humanity of your partner, that's grounds for breakup.
And is humanity the definition for you? Is that warts and all, or the fact that we're all doing our best, but we're not perfect? What's your definition of humanity?
When I say a human being, I'm talking about something that is complete spiritually, but incomplete psychologically.
Ooh.
Do you see?
Okay.
So the psychological incompleteness is the fact that we have not reconciled our template, our model. That has not been dealt with adequately. Spiritually, we are infinite. Spiritually, we are one with Source.
We are perfect.
But the moment you identify with what happened to you, and you elevate that wound to authorship of relationship expectations, now you have to play it out in relationships. You know, I've always said God gives you what you want so he can teach you how to want more, how to want better. Right?
Or give, yeah.
Well,
God gives you what you need.
Oh, you want that?
What you want.
Here you go. You can have that. And then when you get it, you go, hey. Wait a minute. Yeah, you got it now. It's too late, right? Learn through it. Grow through it. And all of this can translate, right, into the intimacy part.
Yeah.
Most of us need safety. No one ever stops and says, why? No one, it's like, it has to be a safe space in order to say how you really feel. Or it has to be a safe space in order to connect. It has to be a safe space in order to be intimate. Why? Because all of us, most of us, are in fear. According to Dr. David R. Hawkins, author of the book Power versus Force, he says everybody on the planet Earth, or not everybody, he says about 99.9% of the planet Earth is vibrating at the conscious level of fear. And so when I come in and say, well, wait a minute, this is why trust is so important. This is why loyalty is so important. This is why ownership in relationship is so important. We together. You belongs to me. You understand?
That's scary.
Why? Because most of us didn't belong to our caregiver, right? Psychologically. Like if you have an emotionally distant father, I'm going to make sure you have your backpacks, your pencils, your books, your lunch, but I'm not going to open up my heart and let you see me. That's intimacy. See into me. So if you couldn't see into your primary caregiver and they block that from you, they're sending you into the world with the expectation of that. I need that because I didn't get that. Do you know how bad the sex is going to be after a certain time? In the beginning, it's going to be great because it's toxic. Oh, it's going to be delicious. But then after a while, you're going to be like Kathy, like, oh, Lord, what did I get myself into? Lord have mercy.
I think you nailed it. I actually think you nailed it.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to getting that nothing, as it were,
Oof.
the lack of intimacy,
Uh-huh.
and you go for what is maybe what you're used to,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're empty. You're hollow inside.
Right.
And then I was hollow inside for a long, long time.
Right.
And I looked for the intimacy in all the wrong places too.
But the answer is never the reflection.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go inside.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've turned the reflection into the supplement. This is the spiritual supplement. I didn't get this when I was young, so whoever comes into my life must supplement it. And I'm saying, no, that's not how it works. You have to manifest it within yourself.
Because it's a bottomless pit otherwise. There's no way that's going to fill you up.
That's codependence,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's not love. That's attachment.
Yeah.
What did Buddha say about attachment?
You don't want it.
It is the source of suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we come forward, the voice of reason, I promise, callers, I'm coming to you. I promise. Hey, before I leave, let me just say this. I got 2 tickets to give away, or or a pair of tickets to give away to the 21st annual City of Gardena Jazz Festival, Sunday, August 25th. If you want these tickets, call me right now, 1-800-920-1580. I'm going to be at the Jazz Fest. You should be there too. Get the tickets now.
You gotta be there. Gardena.
Y'all quiet. Why y'all so quiet today? I don't like it. Is this good? Are we good? I'm coming to the phone calls, man. I promise you, man. I didn't know she was going to flip it on me and start interviewing me. I didn't know this was going to happen. I got a whole script. I ain't even touched the script yet, man.
It's so
I got questions and all kinds of things, man. I didn't know it was going to happen like this.
I think they're not calling because they're fascinated by you. I mean, I am just like blown away completely. I cannot wait for this next book that you don't even know what it's called. I just cannot wait.
I said Zoe is getting coached. I love it. I love it.
No, it's
I am not too big to get coached. Come on.
incredible. I am so excited by this. It's mind-bending.
Day 2 might be required. We got to do another day of this? Wow, my gosh. Man, forget them damn questions.
Oh, Zoe, you are just magnificent, my friend. Absolutely magnificent. Do you realize you're almost exactly the same age as my son, Dan?
I didn't know.
Yep. He was born September 18th, 1970.
Ah.
And I'm
okay.
always kind of looking at people and thinking, what would he be like? Because he, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I wish he'd turn out like this. I hope he'd be as, like, when thousands as enlightened as you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's interesting. You would enjoy him.
I'm still human.
Yeah, of course you would.
I'm still flawed.
I would hope the humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, that's been a struggle for me. I don't want to be everything to everybody, and I think sometimes there's a level of articulation.
Yeah, they will project.
There's a level of understanding. There's a level of learnedness, and it turns into, oh, you've got it figured.
Mm-hmm.
You've got it, and it's like, no.
That's beautiful that you're saying.
Don't do
And
that.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I'm not even
People
close. Right?
will want to marry you, love you, meet you, be you, because you're exceptional. You're a remarkable fellow, and it's such fun to hear the way your mind operates.
I appreciate it.
No, I'm just mind boggled right now. It's beautiful, and it's hard won. This is not easy.
No.
This is not easy.
No.
And,
But my son, my oldest son,
yeah.
I'm proud of him. He's a pro ball player.
What?
Yes. But one of my biggest compliments is when I tell people, hey, he graduated from Fresno State with his degree in philosophy. They go,
What?
They go, well.
I love it, like father.
Yeah, they go,
Apples and trees.
the apple in the tree.
Oh,
I'm like, ha-ha.
Yeah, you did it.
So
That's
I'm
incredible.
excited about that.
How old is he?
He's 27.
27.
Yeah.
So you were very young when you had kids.
Yeah, I was 25 when
Yeah.
I had him.
Yeah. I was young too.
It's my favorite song, so we're going to play a little of this.
Love that.
What does intimacy mean to you? You just think about sex or physical closeness. Still, you're missing out on so much more. With a loneliness epidemic going on, we as a society have lost touch with what true connection, closeness, intimacy, and belonging mean. True intimacy is a deep connection on multiple levels with someone you feel close to, enjoy being with, and can confide in. It gives real meaning to our relationships, friendships, and unions. Without it, our connections lack depth. To truly enjoy friendship, love, or companionship, we need 8 different kinds of intimacy. Physical intimacy. Physical intimacy isn't just about sex. It's the comforting touch that makes us feel loved, appreciated, and safe. Like holding your partner's hand while strolling through the park, sharing a long, warm hug when you greet each other after work, or the simple pleasure of cuddling on the couch during a movie night. According to a study by Sorokovska et al., close physical contact helps release oxytocin, the love hormone, which strengthens our bond and makes us feel secure. Emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy involves sharing your deepest thoughts and feelings with someone you trust. Late-night talks about your dreams and fears, and confiding in your partner or a close friend about what's bothering you. Create a safe space for understanding and self-awareness. It allows you to be yourself without fear of judgment. In fact, according to a study by Kubiak and Feening, 2017, partners who can openly share their feelings, thoughts, and needs are usually happier in their relationships because they feel heard and understood. Experiential intimacy. You know those moments you remember vividly? The ones that make you smile? Like inside jokes with friends and coworkers or unforgettable times with family. They highlight the importance of experiential intimacy. Through shared experiences, you're literally creating...
Man, that's good stuff.
It's really good.
That's good
I want to know
stuff.
the other 6.
That's good stuff. I'm gonna have to get you the link. I love it. We're on fire tonight. You know how the voice of reason does up in here Monday through Thursday. Nothing but hot lava topics. And it's not over. I hope we gave those tickets away, Andy, to the 21st annual Gardena, City of Gardena Jazz Festival, Sunday, the 25th. If you want the tickets and we gave them away, we're good. Great. Awesome. Now I got callers on the line who have been on the line and they want to talk. So let's bring them into this discussion. I know you guys have been listening. We've been pontificating ad infinitum. So now it's time to bring in our callers from all over the country to contribute to tonight's topic. Ronan, Indianapolis, get in here.
Hey, what's going on, people?
What's up, brother? What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Yeah, but I've experienced intimate stonewalling before.
Intimate stonewalling? Come on.
That's rough. That's rough. That's not fair. Oh, man.
Oh, I knew you were. That's why you hung on the line. I knew you were going to hit us upside the head. Intimate stonewalling. Please elaborate.
Well, I mean, we had a intimate impasse because actually some people try to use weaponized sex. They treat it as a treat or a means of control. So in learning that, it learns like there's a break in communication. So the first thing I learned to do was like take my hand off the emotional deadbolt.
That's really vivid. I can see that.
Keep going, Ronan. Keep going.
So in doing that, you try to get to the bottom of things. Not just you're looking for the end result, but you want to see where the break in communication is. Mm-hmm. It could be something external, something internal, and you don't just do that for other people. You got to do that for yourself too.
That's heavy, brother. That's heavy. But let me ask you, have you been in a sexual desert in one of your relationships? The sexual Sahara?
Well, the thing is, someone tried to put me under yoni rations. But the thing is, like, when it comes to that, it has to be worth waiting for. It can't be disrespectfully bad.
Can't phone it in, as they say.
Right. But what I'm saying is, when that happened to you, was it some type of punishment, or was it something where she needed the space or whatever, and her energy wasn't right, she wasn't vibing? Because sometimes we have to make space for that too. Because oftentimes we'll just be on what we're on at the time and what we want and what we desire. And I think sometimes you can build intimacy when you can respect the need to separate, right? I need some space. I need to get my mind together or my emotions together. Was it that kind of situation, or was it I'm going to control you with this kind of situation?
Well, it was like being in, I think, serving time with a control freak.
It's you stay right there. Right there, Ronan. You stay right there. When we come forward, we're going back to Indianapolis. I knew you was going to do this.
Emotional deadbolt. That's a vivid image. Yeah.
Oh, this is Ram Omar.
Ramomar.
Ram Omar NYC. Now, you guys know about Ram Omar. His name is Omar Buckley. He is a fashion designer out of New York, and he is obsessed with the ancients.
Oh.
So he's gone to Egypt. These are literally, he drew the 5,000-year-old prayers from, the walls.
Yes.
He literally drew it.
Wow.
And,
his shirt is beautiful.
Yeah. So I feel protected.
Yeah. That is raw right there with you.
Yes.
Beautiful shirt.
Yeah, and he has a lot of amazing designs, so check him out. Oh. Did Ramomar take his website down? I don't think so. He's been like teaching lectures and all over the country, like all over the world, really. Like he's now on the Sumerians. So he's like put together the Sumerian royal garb. It's crazy.
Love that stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah, and I got like 3 different variations of this one. It's cold. I just, I feel regal. I'd be like, well, well. See, when you wear the royal stuff, that's when you talk like the royals. You know my favorite 2-word statement from the royals. Do you guys know? What's the 2-word statement that the royals use that I love? I absolutely love. Let's see if you guys will get it.
We are not amused, but that's 3 words.
Yeah. We are not amused. That's a good one, though.
I tried.
I love that one. What's the 2-word? There it is. I knew somebody would get it. Leave us.
Leave us.
That in every movie that they have somebody royal, the royal person always said, leave us. And then everybody gets up and leaves. I love that.
And they're probably on their own when they say it, because the royal we is a single person.
Leave us.
We are not amused.
We.
I am not amused.
Yes.
Leave me.
I love it. I love it. Hey, what up, girl dad? Cooking up deliciousness. Okay, thank you guys for the likes. Let's see, we got 3 minutes on this break. You guys, if you want to use the restroom, it's right there. If you guys are good.
Good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I- That was really-
This was this show is almost over, by the way.
I know.
Like,
I have so much more I want to know.
it happens when it's good, it moves.
Yeah.
When it's good, it moves. And I didn't know I was going to be interviewed, so it's
I
good.
still have so many more questions. You
So-
have no idea.
So it's good, right? Underworld evolution. Victor,
Oh.
you do not possess the necessary skills. I love that character, Victor.
Is he a regular?
Victor, you remember the Underworld series? The movie Underworld with the vampires and the werewolves? You're Team Lycan. Okay, fine. Team Werewolf.
Oh.
Now, there was a scene where this really old vampire was awakened by his surrogate daughter. Right? It's not really his daughter, but he made her a vampire because he killed her family when she was a little kid, but he never told her. So she thought she was just,
Like normal.
So basically, there's this chain of succession. When one super powerful vampire is awake, the other one is asleep. And they do that for 100-year cycles. So she found out about a werewolf plot from a werewolf that was supposed to be dead 100 years before. But somebody in their coven kept him alive and conspired against the coven with him.
It's just all too complicated.
So she found out about it, and she knew the only person that could resolve the issue was Victor, but it wasn't his time to rule. It was Marcus's time. And she bit herself and gave him some blood and awoke him.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah, it was
think
amazing.
You've got a lot of time on your hands, right?
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that
you
damn
love this
movie.
stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if that movie comes on tonight, I'll be like, oh, there it is. There's so many scenes in there that are just fantastic. But he said it, leave us.
Leave us.
Everyone, leave us.
Not leaving yet.
But he was upset with her because he was like, you don't have the skills to give me all my memories back. And it's not my turn to rule. I'm supposed to be asleep. It's Marcus. He's supposed to be awakened tomorrow. She just did it on her own. And he was like, you will be punished.
You will be punished.
I love it. Y'all remember that movie, right?
I'm gonna see this.
When she disappointed him and tried to explain herself, he coughed real hard. Yeah. That's my favorite scene. I love it. We got 50 people in here. We need 3 more likes. We got 47 likes. Come on. Let's go. And please don't forget to support the Cash App. Show your love, show your appreciation for tonight's show. It's an amazing show. And you already know it's pretty much over. We got like 2 more breaks and then that's it.
Highly trivial subject to get so upset about, being rightly no more significant than who should open the door first or open a new jam jar first. And yet, judging from the heartache it tends to generate, it appears to matter very much indeed. It's at the root of many affairs. It is the catalyst for vicious arguments and bitterness. The long-term future of small children can be decided by it, and couples routinely end up in therapy or more often the divorce courts because of it. At the heart of the drama are all the complexities involved when late at night, in the darkness, one person's hand moves over to tentatively touch the other's body in a way that signals a desire to initiate either sex or a cuddle, and nothing much happens in return. This move ends up being so much more fraught than one might imagine because it has so little to do with making love. It is about knowing that we are wanted. The willingness to initiate sex can appear like the litmus test of whether one is appreciated within the relationship as a whole, and therefore whether a couple remains a going concern or not. For one person never to initiate, or else merely to respond half-heartedly to caresses, is tantamount to declaring that they cannot possibly love the person they are with. In truth, a lack of initiation or response can mean many things. It may, at points, simply be a sign of exhaustion after a long day of childcare or work at the office. Sometimes an untouched hand is just an untouched hand. The real problem in the ambiguous darkness of the bedroom is not a lack of reciprocation per se. It is the way that that ambiguity is interpreted, the way that assumptions are formed without discussion and grave offences taken without the topic having first been aired. Beneath this lies a more pernicious problem still: shame. Unreciprocated touch becomes properly dangerous when it comes into contact with a high degree of self-suspicion or self-hatred on the part of the person who has dared to slide their hand across. What might merely have been judged an innocent or temporary lack of enthusiasm comes to be taken, silently and automatically, as evidence of something far more catastrophic, proof that the other person finds us disgusting.
That's a bit of a...
That was heavy.
That was heavy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, can you imagine? And I'm pretty sure many people can imagine
Yeah.
being head over heels in love with someone who doesn't want you. And if you've modeled any of that in childhood, it's going to take you right back. Like, it's heavy, man. Ronan, Indianapolis. You were on fire when we came forward. Now we have come full circle. You know I got to get your final thoughts on this. Come on.
Okay, so in that situation, I knew I had to come face to face with this unresolved issue of codependency. So, we just even said, like, when you were deeply in love with the idea of a person, because, like, you were trying to be intimate with somebody, but when they're married to their negative narrative, there is no room for you.
Married. Wait, hold on. You can't speed through that, speed racer. What'd you say? Married to a negative narrative. Please expound on that. My God.
So every attempt to try to be intimate with this person, like see the positive in them, show them great things that you like about them, it was returned with spite. It was returned with a lot of vitriol and everything like that. They would turn cold on you. And it get to the point where you might as well make love to a lukewarm burrito. But when it came down to it,
Sorry, that's
growing up,
you're good. I love his language.
That's he's a star on this show right now. Go ahead.
Incredible.
so when it came down to it, having not dealt with the whole thing with being raised by emotional terrorist, a narcissist of a mother, you start mirroring those patterns in your relationships where you deal with substandard treatment, where you deal with substandard, I guess, needs of reciprocity.
But wait, Ronan, hold on. You putting a lot of paint where it ain't. So let's just get right to it, man. This is,
Okay.
aren't you describing like 99.9% of everybody though? Again, I think it boils down to most people have never been taught. Just like you hear economists say, most people are never taught how to make money in school, or how to manage money, or how to do. You hear economists say this all the time, right? But nobody teaches us in school or in the home how to be with a human being. We're taught to be with human doings. Do for me. What can I get? This is what I signed up for. This is the outcome I'm looking for. Do you understand? We've never been able to sit in comfort, even with our own primary caregivers, our mothers, our fathers. We will sit with them and we will see things, especially when we come to a certain level of consciousness, we will see things and we'll go, that's terrible. You're really like that? But because their mom and because their dad or cousin or brother or sister, we might dislike it, but there's still this familial connection that says, well, that's what I got. You can't pick your family. But you wind up taking some of this stuff into your adult relationship because this is your norm, right? This is not only your norm, but your known. This is what you know. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I mean, to get down to it, I had to really have to have those uncomfortable conversations with the reflection in the mirror. First, I had to learn how to not just address myself, but I had to learn how to forgive myself.
Come
I
on.
had to learn how to relearn myself, and then, I teach myself how to receive not just compliments, but, the treatment that you aspire to have. So once you set that standard from the ground up, now you know how to maneuver, because just because you start a certain way doesn't mean you have to finish a certain way.
All right, man. You cooking with olive oil. This is that high grade olive oil. You done mixed it with a little grapeseed oil, boy. Ronan, guess what you just did, my brother?
Indianapolis back in the building.
Indianapolis is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. We got callers on the line. Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Might need to take a whole walk tonight. Honestly, shout out to
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm fascinated by this man, I have to tell you.
Love and the way that you have opened the floor and have expressed and shared your own experiences and all, again, just thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your voice with the voice of reason here tonight. Lord have mercy. Look, remember how
Bless you.
William said, you either small and got big, or you was big and got small.
Mm-hmm.
The stress we've been through is like stretch marks. Either way, I love you.
Wow.
You
Oh
dig?
man, I appreciate that, nephew. I do. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for always being down with the program. You know that. So guess what you got to do it right this time. Guess what you just did?
ATL.
Atlanta is in the building because of Nazarene X. When we come forward, Inglewood up to no good. We gonna talk about it. Let's get it. It's almost
You have
over.
some pretty amazing viewers.
Oh yeah.
Whatever they
Oh
are.
yeah.
I mean,
That,
they're really deep.
yeah.
These guys are incredible.
Yeah, there's,
It's been all men.
Many of them have been following me for years.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of women in here. She said it's been all men. You see what you
men.
guys have done to me tonight? But usually there's sisters and people from all over,
Yeah.
men and women. They usually call in. I asked Attila to call in. Attila, what happened to you? No Nikki from the SIP.
Attila got secret admirers and everything.
That's what Attila be getting. Attila calls in and people be like, is that Zoe's niece? Yeah. Yes, indeed. My name is Jethro Williamson. And can you connect me with your... I'm like, no. No, sir. What's your niece's email address? I'll be like, Mr. Williamson, no, sir. No, sir. But it happens. Andy, after the show, Andy will tell me. Talk to my Tio. Yeah, talk to me. I will lead people astray. She lives in Australia. She is a trainer of orcas. I will just come up with a story
Oh my goodness.
to lead these men away from my niece. That's how I do it. She's an orca trainer, and she trains in the wild. She doesn't work for SeaWorld. She just trains in the wild. Sometimes you got to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes you got to lead them away from
Take it away.
the female members of your family.
I wouldn't want to be your daughter. She'll never go out on a date. It's over.
It's crazy.
Oh, your daughter.
That's really
You have a
close.
daughter?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
She's 24.
Has she ever been on a date?
No.
Oh no. You got a gun.
No. I'm not the bad dad. It's just she's in love with Chris Brown.
Oh, got it. And who wouldn't?
So I'm fine with that. I'm like, I will never let you meet him.
Never.
I will block all of that.
Rude. Not fair.
I will stand in the gap between you and Chris Brown. I will never let you meet him.
Glad I'm not you. That's so
No, she doesn't.
That's nice. Can we hear it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason. You already know my playlist is my co-host. And tonight we have been featuring the amazing, eclectic sounds of Robert Glasper. Man, you know, Robert Glasper is a mood. I don't even drink wine, but when I hear his music, I think Moscato. You know, that's some of the wines that women drink, right? I don't drink anything. So order me a Moscato on the rocks. Do they come on the rocks? No? You don't drink it on the rocks? Okay. Yes, I'll have a Chardonnay. Yes. But that's the vibe he produces. And you already know my playlist is my co-host, and I love putting together songs and soundscapes that fit the topic. And I think we did a good job tonight. We've got callers on the line. Morris from Inglewood. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, Morris?
Hey, that music, man, big time romantic. Big time romantic. You gonna get busy, that's the kind of music you play. But I was just,
Okay.
you know, you talk about relationships, okay? Chemistry's always pretty good. You get nice little chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you're gonna be putting in some work. You're gonna be putting in some work. And it's always good if you got a little bit of maturity to yourself and got good self-control. If you're bringing that thing to the table, then a relationship will go a little bit further. And I would suggest to most men, let her talk and be interested in what she's talking about. And she'll appreciate you more. In my opinion, you know, everybody can do the sex thing, but if you listen to them and be interested in what they're talking about, try to take the load off of them, they'll stay with you. You know, that's been my experience. But that's all I want to add to this.
Come on, Morris. If you don't come in here with the wisdom we've been looking for, thank you, brother.
I love this man. Morris, you are absolutely right.
Morris said, you better listen. Hey, thank you, man. You brought Inglewood in the building. We appreciate the call. Let me get my brother, Heru Ali, Battle Creek, Michigan, in the building. Talk to us, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Peace and love to the family nation around the show. Our esteemed guests, Andy, and everybody in the chat. 18 years ago, when I was caring for my mother, she had been in the hospital, unconscious for about a year. And one night, on the TV, Dayline NBC had a spot, a piece called Sexless Marriages. Now, these were couples who were, you know, professional couples, had children, and all of that, but they were in a sexless marriage. And there were 3 couples that were selected. They went to a special retreat, and the counselors said that, listen, at the end of the day, you don't need a new toy or a new technique. You need truth. And the truth is that they were, after they got together, they got married, they were afraid to reveal to their significant other what they desired sexually. It could have been all kind of kink, all kind of, you know, polygyny, could have been whatever. Because they feared that they would make their spouse feel like they weren't enough. And the counselor said, it's not about you not being enough, it's about individual desires.
That's very wise.
You know, we have been inculcated and colonized to be outside of our nature. Monogamy is not natural for black men.
Talk to us. Let's. You already know this is non-judgmental space. Please keep talking. We'll go deeper.
Absolutely, it's scientific. So listen, it's just not natural. So what happened in this hit piece? They revealed reluctantly each couple what they desired, and they had a weekend to explore all of their sexual desires, whether it was with someone else and all of them cuck or whatever it was, and then it absolutely, the truth of it, they said, you don't need a toy, you don't need another technique, you need a truth.
So are you saying, let me ask you a question. Are you saying truth is one of the seeds for developing and cultivating intimacy, true intimacy?
Absolutely. Truth is so expensive that we barely purchase it for ourselves.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Why do you say truth is so expensive that we barely purchase it for ourselves? Go deeper. Please expound on that thought.
Because everywhere you go, there you are.
Mm.
Listen, the most expensive place for you to be is in your own mind.
Okay.
To examine the past pains and what you feel you. Well,
Yeah, we had to give you the organs. We had to give you the organs now. If you're going to do it for real, Reverend.
turn to your neighbor. Listen, truth is so expensive, we really give it to ourselves. It's like, listen, we've been so taken out of our true nature that the truth to us as works in progress, right, and our humanity, we reject that.
Wow. You know what you're going to make me do? You're going to make me do a show on truth tomorrow. And I'm going to call it Truth as a Treat. It's a treat. Sometimes we can just...
Part two is definitely warranted. Listen, I've experienced this myself. I came home from watching that documentary. I said, I'm going to go home. And one of the requirements were that since that retreat was a safe space, whatever your partner said, you couldn't take it personal like you weren't enough. You were allowing it because we know that folks stay married 10, 20 years. Once the kids go off to college, they divorce. Why do they divorce? Because they never had the chance to express what they truly desire because they didn't want to hurt their spouse's feelings. And they think that they weren't enough. Peace and love to the family and nation.
Bro.
I love y'all. Please stay safe and dangerous. Part 2, I know it's coming.
It's coming. Hey, we appreciate you. Haru Ali on complete fire. Let me just do this because we only have a few seconds remaining. I just want to talk to Kathy for a second about creative visions. Can you just, you know, Tavis, come on, talk to us just a little bit.
I love storytellers, and I've loved this evening. Creative Visions is dedicated to helping people tell stories that need to get out there in the world, so we wake up and we get involved in things that are going to make our world a better place.
Wow.
Check us out, creativevisions.org. Can't wait.
There it is. Hey, I'm the voice of reason, and I'll be back here tomorrow, which is my Friday, with another slapper. Holla at me.
You every day?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. No question.
It's so long, 2 full hours with you.
It flew by though, right?
It flew
That was
by.
amazing.
But for you every night to come up with this, and you put the show, the play.
Everything, yeah.
It's awesome.
It was good stuff, right?
I loved it. I think you're absolutely remarkable.
If we were inspired, that's all that matters, right?
So grateful to have been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For having me.
I appreciate you guys coming through.
Oh, thank you.
And I got to thank Doc.
Doc. Oh, well.
Doc made it so. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. You already know tomorrow's going to be another slapper. Truth as a treat. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Because you can't demand the truth from somebody else and you partial out the truth to yourself. Oh, this going to be cold-blooded. Let's get it done. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Deuces.